Can you hear me?
Yes,
I can
we
hear
can,
you.
yes.
I just changed a couple of tiny settings.
Marvellous.
So
Always worth changing a few settings if it's not working. Hooray!
You have exactly. I thought you. I know you're familiar with such things, Cliff. But there you go.
Anyway,
Okay,
don't worry,
I can
Alan,
tell.
because that's given us time to line up a few volunteers for you that we didn't have 10 minutes ago. So
Okay.
no time has been lost here. Great to see you, by the way. So thank you so much for taking part. And I think it was about 10 years ago, wasn't it, that we were in France together with Wilfred?
2000. Well, it was 2009.
2009.
In the south.
Yes, that's right. That was the first time I met you.
Was that the first time? Oh, that was when we had the big karate dojo, and you were doing ki on one end of the big dojo, and I was bagging people on the back with ki eyes at the other end of the dojo.
That's the one. Unforgettable. And I was yelling up, "Can you be a bit quieter, Alan?"
Yes, it was
fun, wasn't it? It was really good. It was a really good event. It was really good. And we'll just see if we can get up. Yes, here she is. Hooray! It worked. Brilliant. I'll get out of the way. And yeah.
And you just, we'll see him later. Hello, Sabina.
Hi.
I'm Alan. Finally, we've got all our little technical difficulties out the way. We're online. Are you a shiatsu therapist?
Well, basically not, although I did 4 years education 10 years ago, but I never finished it.
Really? 4 years and still not finished? Can I ask a personal question? Mm-hmm. Where do you come from? You have an accent.
I'm from Croatia.
Oh, wonderful.
And I live in the Netherlands now.
You're here in the Netherlands?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then you're down the road to me.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have a lot of students that come from places like Croatia, Serbia, Litauen, and a whole bunch of places, and Russia, and everywhere. That's because all you guys who don't actually come from here have taken the trouble to learn English instead of the English learning to take the trouble to learn your language, but I guess that's because it became kind of universal. I'm going to be, you know roughly what I do you? I don't know if you saw what just happened.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Well, that's good, because that saves a lot of time with me telling stories and intros. First one, you have to do that. I'm going to ask you a question. What can I do for you?
Well, on body level, I have a sore shoulder. I have, in a way, damaged it.
Left one.
Left. It's a swimming injury. And that's it. And on maybe emotional, mental, I don't know, my hormones are a bit, I have a big oscillations in my emotional states.
Well, if you saw what I just did with Martina, I did point out and showed how to put the tongue in that position, and eventually, don't try and do it all in one go. We all did it when we were kind of inside mummy, but we kind of forgot. But I started again at 24 because the teacher showed me how to do that. So I've been doing it for 50 years, but from experience, I would say start with the first one, push it back, take the time. Even if it takes a year before you can get it all the way back, you have to remember you're not a little baby anymore. You've had a lot of years not putting it back. But if it was in there, which it was, then of course you can get it back again. It just takes some time. But when you do, it's about just breathing and focusing on it, and you'll change the saliva in your mouth. You'll probably did all that already. I don't know how many people watched what I was doing. The point being that all of that has to do with the balancing of your hormones. Okay?
Okay.
But I'm going to some very down-to-earth questions as well. Do you take the pill or anything else? So you don't take anything that would interfere with the hormone system, right?
No, and I mean, basically, I don't know, I don't have any medical proof that there is something wrong with me. I just notice it in my, observations. It's not that I have a medical condition.
No, and I wasn't suggesting it was.
Sorry.
I don't. Most of these things, I try to avoid giving things a medical name, because it's one. Where I'm coming from, it's just one body, one person in a very big environment. But from our point of view, in our daily lives, it can be a small environment with all the stuff that goes with it. But as one practices more, not that you should do more shiatsu, but you should do more of the do-in anyway, to give yourself, how can I put it, that if I say inner peace, I don't really mean inner peace. I don't really mean satisfaction. I mean that you reawaken the awareness, and I really do mean awareness, not intellectual, that you are bodily aware that you are living, and it's not you that's doing it. That's the most important part. Key and working with it, that kind of thing, is the way to get there. And a lot of people I don't know what they're looking for, but I just followed what my teacher said, and I did it, and their experiences. And those experiences are very subjective and personal until you meet other people who have had the same experiences, and they could be from anywhere in the world, and they were doing something. And then there's recognition. And I can understand that most people have been brought up to be social, and the idea of being separated from things isn't good. That's quite true. But if you are separated from things, you're not separated from life.
Yeah.
So all night you breathe. We know it's automatic. All day you decide how you're going to feel, right? At night you dream. Do you dream a lot?
Yeah, and I actually dreamt of you recently, and that's why I applied, and I never met you.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you.
But how do you mean me? How did you know it was me?
Well, I was checking out shiatsu.
Yes.
So I was actually contemplating if I would like to continue the education, but maybe not now is not a good time. And now I'm just by chance doing some, let's say, dream workshop. And then I had a dream that I came to, is it dojo the name? And I mean the
dojo?
To the center.
Oh, a dojo is just a Japanese word for a place of learning.
Okay. And there was you demonstrating, and you asked someone if someone wants to treat a person. And I remember that there was like wool threads where the meridians go.
Yes, I know that as well. We can do that, but I can track them all. Anyway, if you did 4 years of study, you must have learned something, right?
I
don't know. Yes, that's amazing. And when did you have this dream?
Well, 2 nights ago, but
my God,
shall I finish it? So I volunteered to demonstrate, and I touched the person, and I could feel so clearly the energy. And I was treating someone small intestine, and I think that's actually maybe my problem. And someone told me that you're Croatian. No, or I actually asked, what is your name? And the person said Svetac, and that means in Croatian a saint. And we both started to laugh. And that's
I'm glad you both started to laugh. But I'll tell you a secret. I was born in England, but by blood, I'm half Russian, half Polish.
Okay, so you're Slavic.
I am a Slav, yeah. Not a Slav, a Slav.
A Slav.
But I grew up, and my father wanted me to be English. Everything was about fitting in, and that worked. But there came a point where I rebelled, and with that rebellion, I started doing what now I've done for the rest of my life and continue to do. So there are a lot of Slavic people who come here and the Dutch people and French people and so on to learn. And this is behind me, the big dojo where we do it. And we still do it live. We do it online, but we do it live as well, which we just started. And you're very welcome to join in somewhere. I think I could, if you want. If you do you live far from The Hague?
I live in Nijmegen.
Well, not bad. We got one that comes from Groningen, so and he beds with his buddy in Amsterdam and then comes here. But people come from all over the place. But let's have a look at that shoulder of yours, shall we? That's that one there. I'm pointing on my screen. Yes, your left one. And that was a ski accident, you said?
Swimming. I mean, it's not,
swimming. Sorry,
it's not an accident. It's just a bit stretched.
A bit. We do that. For how long?
2 weeks.
Only 2 weeks. Oh wow! I'm getting away with murder here. I usually go for the really deep stuff. So, but this is. I'm focusing on it now. It doesn't take too much trouble. Let's just take a look. Oh my goodness. It's at the front and it's on the muscle. You can open your eyes if you like. It's on here and here, and it comes up at the back a bit.
Yeah, it comes in the neck.
Yes, in fact, around about there somewhere.
Yeah.
That's not well. This you can get your. If you do this, can you see it? Maybe if I turn around, it's easier. If you can take those muscles under here and just pinch them.
Yeah.
Slowly, you know, like you would if you were doing shiatsu.
Yeah.
And work from up here to down there. And of course, do it with the other. I'm doing it with this one, but you're going to do it with the other hand. So you have to do it with the other hand. And this is my left, so actually I should be doing this one, and it goes down there. And this one here, you can dig into it. That's called Gallbladder 21.
Yeah.
But that's not going to help you so much. So that's going to be even more interesting. Is if you wouldn't mind, you take your left foot, and I'll do mine, and get it up here somewhere. Let's see if we can find that for you. Not too difficult. And down here, can you see him? I'm trying to stick my foot in the camera and getting cramp at the same time. Here's the little toe.
Yeah.
And then just come on the inside and you have Gallbladder Meridian.
Okay.
You remember that? And then you just come up a bit until in between the big toe, a little toe, and the fourth toe, you just come up to where you can't go any further in the groove between the two toes.
Yeah.
And that's number 41. When you push in there, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Good. You need to do that a lot.
Okay.
To help on the same side. You can do both actually. And not only that's a very interesting thing because you mentioned your oscillation of hormones. This particular point also opens one of the 8 curious meridians. You heard about them?
8?
Curious meridians.
No.
I've never heard of them? Okay. Well, they get taught here as well. The 8 curious meridians are, you got to look it up because there's no time in 1 hour for me to explain the whole 8, but they're there. 2 of them are actually the governor vessel and the conception. So a lot of people talk about the 6. You know how they are, Chinese and Japanese. Anyway, 8 curious meridians. And the guy that teaches that is Japanese, and he's coming here in March next year to start a new round of what he does, which is all of that. And he was my teacher as well, one of them, and he's been working with me for the last 22 years. So that means I got to study because I was filming it all as well. Anyway, that point is not only good for the shoulder, that also opens this pathway which goes through there and into the brain and actually affects the balance of your hormone system.
Okay.
And when you look it up, you're probably going to Google it. It'll either be called the penetrating vessel or the through-going vessel, depends how they wanted to translate it. And you'll find it in an instant because you're young and smart, so you're going to get on Google and have a quick look and be able to focus on that. And that's a good one. And when I was doing that little bit, did you feel any change?
On the
left shoulder? I don't know, you tell me.
Well, I feel change now.
What does it feel like?
Light.
Good.
It's super light.
It won't stay. I have to warn you, it is actually a physical thing,
Yeah.
right? I can move physical things, but it's elastic. My body is elastic, so I can move it and hold it, but when I let go, it's going to trickle back into its old pattern. But your good fortune is that this only happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So just keep doing, the thing coming down. And those points I showed you, Gallbladder 41, you can find that on both. You can do it on both sides. One is for the shoulder, but if you do both of them, of course, you have two halves of a brain, and you have the glands with the hormones in the middle. And I hope, if I hear from you again, it's always the way with things like this. I never hear from people again, you know what I mean? And I've done it all and think, oh, I'm happy now. They're so happy they forget that I ever existed, which is okay. Otherwise, that'd be too busy. But I would like to, if you have the time, to hear from you. I'm easy to find. I know Cliff will put a thing up with my website address, and it's got that you can automatically email and so on and get to me. And if you want to do a session personally, you can do that too. He's got one slide, no big deal. I just sent a pamphlet and a slide of doing, because I do this online, not for a living. I've just started doing it professionally online. I used to do it anyway, but now I'm doing it so that people can actually be helped in Corona time. And I'm very selfish, you should know that. Because you're young, not that Corona's nice to young people, it isn't. But if I get it, it's at 74, my risk is very high. So being able to do this, actually, I'm very grateful to be able to do and have that contact.
Yeah.
But I also do it live. We have a big protocol in the school. You can see nothing here except the judo mats and everything else. But tomorrow it will be full of third-level students, and I will be teaching them diagnosis. And these days, I'm also teaching them how to channel universal key in such a way that only when you know the meridians and what's going on in the body, you can really make it work. It's not a global thing. You really do have to have some experience behind you, and you're very welcome to come and learn that as well.
Yeah.
When you're ready.
Yeah.
But thank you. All I can say, thank you very much.
It was really beautiful.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm really amazed by that story.
Okay.
Your dream.
Well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah. So we'll just get Sabina. Just, that's it. Okay. Yeah. Just as we're running out of time, so unfortunately we had lots of people lined up, but they'll have to contact you directly and get some treatment.
Well, I guess so, Cliff. I thought that might happen. I'm very glad it could happen. We got
great to watch you working. And you mentioned the handouts, and I'm going to launch those right now. And I've got a question from someone about where you trained and stuff. But I'm going to share the handout. So there's actually a handout there now. If you'd just like to click on that, if you can't download it, if you're on a phone or something, don't worry, because we'll put the handout when we get everything loaded up online. But it looks like a lot of people are already clicking on it. I've got it. Yeah.
Oh, I've got it. It's on my screen.
So yeah, there we are. And Yep, good.
Oh,
yes,
sweet.
Lots of people downloading it, so that's good. And I've got the link to your website, which I'll do at the end. But did have a question from someone. They were interested to know who was your main teacher, your first influence. So I wondered if there's who was your main teacher, Donna? Yeah.
My first I see. You mean the original influence before?
Well, no,
shiatsu
I think
started.
shiatsu. I don't know. Well, just let us know. Yeah, how did you get into shiatsu?
Because at the time when I was living in Amsterdam, that was after I came from England, and they imported me. A whole lot of people. How can I put that? I found out from a few people, and my wife found out as well, that somebody called Sasaki had been invited to Holland back in the day. That was almost at the beginning of our time, you know, back in the days when Pauline Sasaki and your buddies and everybody was kind of rising. And he was down there. That was part of Thomas Nelson.
Yes, I know.
You ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly, and his brother. They were making tempeh and tofu down there in the south of the country, and they invited him there, and the whole thing started. And they moved to Groningen, but before that, I was taking a magnetic healing course in Amsterdam, which was going very well, and super Christian, but it's okay. I didn't mind all that. And then I was told about these Japanese guys, and I started with Yoshinori Miyashita.
No, I haven't.
Probably never heard of him. Well, he settled here in Holland quite a while ago.
When would that have
been?
Late 70s, would it be?
Yes, late 70s, early 80s. And so I did that something like at the same time. And that was in the Japanese Cultural Center in Amsterdam. And it was really kind of, you'd have loved it. It was back in the freak days when everything was floorboards and you had to walk up 6 flights of stairs to get to a group of 7 people. But at least he could do English, right? And he did Narikoshi method and developed his own, which was cool. And we got on well and we had beers together. And then came Sasaki and Kawada to a place called Groningen, and they started the school up there, and I joined that, and I did the whole 9 yards there. And then Sasaki asked me to be the how can I say, the leader of the Dutch in Holland, and I refused him. Yes, which I'm very glad I did, but that's another story, because there's something I felt I needed to fulfill, and I went on and I studied with Kawada, and now he works with me, and actually I pay him.
Yes. I mean, I've never met him, but I've heard amazing things about his teaching, especially about points and the action of points and things.
Especially, he does, and that's the 8 Curious Meridians. And he's written a book. He's an artistic guy, not autistic, artistic. So he's not really super intellectual, but enormous a sense of being able to feel and put these things together. And I've learned a lot and taken it with me, and it's a part of the school agenda. It's a 4th year, so you could say I've never stopped learning. Because he's still here coming up with new stuff.
You've been listening to Gallic. He opened the whole Congress with exactly that message. You must keep learning from people.
Yes, they do. They need to hear. In fact, I'm feeling good at 74 because I keep learning more.
Exactly.
That's the way I would say it. You know?
Oh, that's so interesting. That's so interesting.
Anyway.
That's brilliant. Okay, so I've got your handout. I've done your handout. So now I'm going to do your link to your school. I'm going to share that now, and so everyone can maybe open another browser window with that, because we're just coming up to the tea break again. We just got 1 minute to go, so I'm going to share your handout. Okay. So there it is. So I'm not the handout. The link. Sorry, the handout's already gone. And you've had 130.
The clicks are going up very fast. Hey, Cliff, before I know you're busy. I know you and Dinah are like really good at it and really busy. I want to thank you also lovely. I'm so glad
you,
to
Alan.
be here. And this little time has caused a lot. And it's good to get to know you like this, because that's much better than banging you around in a southern France something.
Yeah, there's no arguments about the noise. We can just adjust the volume. That would yell across the
Exactly.
I think if I remember rightly, you had the microphone and a massive great PA, and I was trying to do something, and you were like, I said, Alan, don't use the microphone. You're going, okay, I won't. It was booming down the whole hall. It was hysterical. It was so funny.
We were learning back in the day. It was. We had a good dinner that
fantastic.
evening.
The food was great. Yeah, totally great. Thank you, French Federation, for that. Even 10 years later, we're still talking about the food.